Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street from 2007. So yes, back again with another Burton film to discuss here on the channel. One that I've been looking forward to kind of rewatching for a number of years and eventually, yes, reviewing on the channel. As I say, recently, reviewing Mars Attacks, I did say it's been a while since I actually kind of, went through Tim Burton films on the channel, and here we are once again, shortly after Mars Attacks with Sweeney Todd, a very, very, very unique film, and to me a very special film. And yes, there will be spoilers for this film, in this kind of discussion here. So if you haven't seen this film, simply a recommendation to check it out first, and then come back to this perhaps this discussion, and we can go from there. We can talk in the comments, if you want. And so yes, with that said, in this film here, let me just say straight away, such a special film here, and rewatching this again, last month, which was October, and watching a few Tim Burtons around the kind of October, Halloween period, of course, and into November as well. With Mars Attacks, kind of watching that for the first time actually, and really, really liking that one, and just Beetlejuice as well, on the actual on Halloween itself, and just having a great time. So yes, it was great to kind of rewatch this film here, and what a film this is. Of course, and seeing this film, there are moments that I remembered from this, many different moments of violence perhaps, but it really is even more magical, uplifting, and just beautiful than even more so than I remembered. And this film here, on this rewatch, really taken on another form actually, and I'd seen this certainly once before, and I'd seen perhaps most of the film at another point shortly after that kind of first watch, and many years ago though. But yes, different moments really stuck with me. There's moments of violence that I just never forgot, and this is certainly a pretty violent musical, that's for sure. Very rare to see a film in this way, I feel. And Tim Burton, once again, when he's on form, I feel he is a truly master filmmaker. I'm not a fan of every kind of Tim Burton film, but that's not the case for many directors, my favourite filmmakers, and I do count Tim Burton, when he's at his best, as one of my favourite filmmakers, and so unique, so talented, and just he creates films, at times, really with feeling, and I think just kind of the world building, with his films, his best films, and just the costumes, and just the sets, marvelous to behold, and it's truly theatrical, cinema this, and it's a musical, of course, a slasher film as well, and a very dark, kind of revenge film really, and this film here, yes, just took on another form really, really growing on me even more, and I do count this now, as one of the absolute greatest Tim Burton films. I take this over many Tim Burton films, and it's a really a special film actually, and yes, certainly among my favourite kind of musicals, if you will, and yes, this film here. Such a kind of interesting plot as well. So unique that Tim Burton made this. Just the right director, I feel. For this kind of story here, and to kind of bring out the darkness, but also kind of Tim Burton films. I love how he kind of creates this kind of melancholy atmosphere, and adds this dry humour to his films as well. And this one really kind of balances that so wonderfully really. And Johnny Depp, of course, starring as Sweeney Todd, also known as Benjamin Barker, that is his actual name. But yes, the setting being in London, 1846, and we have though very early on we have this kind of flashback to kind of 15 years earlier, and we have this kind of yes, there's this flashback where we see, Benjamin Barker being wrongly accused and convicted, of course, for this crime he did not commit, and Judge Turpin, this kind of corrupt individual, is kind of the one behind this, and he kind of yes, he wants to take Lucy, the wife of Benjamin Barker, and she does as well, have a child, and we learn, the kind of the current setting in the film, that Judge Turpin, has basically brought up, the daughter Joanna, of course, and she is his ward, and there we kind of have this revenge story. and of course, this very strange film, a slasher musical, very, very interesting, but, I think it works wonderfully, and this story, though, is so interesting, and we have, the journey to London straight away, and we have this kind of wonderful, kind of, really humorous, I feel, musical number, No Place Like London, and just, we have this other character, though, being introduced straight away, Anthony Hope, and he's played, of course, by Jamie Campbell Bower, and quite a big character in the film here, of Anthony, and we have these two characters kind of, on the ship, and they come into London, and from there we kind of have, yes, this revenge story, if you will. Of course, we have Joanna in the film as well, and she is, kind of given this arc, along with, this character of Anthony Hope, and, but at the same time we have, Sweeney Todd kind of reopening his barber shop. Barber, of course, the kind of shop of, Mrs. Lovett, and she, of course, has this kind of meat pie shop, and obviously, yes, famously kind of known for, the worst pies in London, and, above this, though, yes, Sweeney Todd opening up, his kind of barbershop again, and, he gets his old kind of cutthroat razors back, and, it's a great kind of sequence, but yes, from there we have, the kind of, the narrative here being one where, he rises back up to kind of, to kind of to power, you could say. Well, also, being motivated by revenge, and perhaps, yes, being reunited, with his daughter, Joanna. Of course, he does learn that she is still alive, and she's with Judge Turpin, and we have this kind of this moment where he's told this, but really, the fascinating thing is, in the end, it doesn't kind of end, with him really caring about this. It's kind of one of these films where the revenge really takes over, and he's kind of blinded by this. He really is just full on, wanting to kind of take revenge, on Judge Turpin. But in the end, he's kind of destructive to all those around him, and in the end, yes, he dies alone, and as we know, kind of killing off, Mrs. Lovett in a very, very brutal way. But yes, as well, his wife. Lucy, who is believed to be someone else in the film, until, we go further on in the film, and, it's kind of, in the end, it's revealed that she is Lucy, and she's just, she did not die from the kind of, the poisoning, and she was this character who, in a very poetic way, was always kind of around, and of course, we have her crop up in different scenes early on, throughout the film as well, and we have all these different characters, all these threads, but this kind of rise, to kind of prosperity, you could say, but also, yes, using this, his status, to kind of lure in Judge Turpin, and then, of course, eventually killing him off, and taking his revenge, but then in the end, of course, Todd does meet his end as well, and that's the kind of final shot, as we know. So it's a very interesting narrative. But yes, this kind of rewatch that I kind of went on here recently, just really kind of this film taking on another form entirely, and I think personally, actually, until the kind of perhaps the ending itself, and or some of the final act, I think this film is masterful in every kind of department, and I think the sets, the production itself, across the board is flawless, absolutely, and the acting here on display, wow. Johnny Depp, giving one of his best performances. Of course, Helena Bonham Carter as well is just wonderful in this film. This really such a compelling character. These are masterfully written characters, and just performed characters. Of course, John Logan penning the script here, absolutely wonderful. Stephen Sondheim as well, actually providing the score to this film as well, and really wonderful score. And the songs here, of course, No Place Like London, is one of the early ones, but we have Joanna as well, used in kind of different renditions throughout the film, from the perspective of different characters, acting really, really differently at times for these different characters. The actual real feeling behind these renditions, it's all kind of relative to the different characters and the kind of their relationship with Joanna. We have this kind love story as well, that kind of forms between Joanna and of course, course, our character of Anthony Hope, and this is very, very different though to later on in the film. Johnny Depp, is kind of performing this, as Todd, and it really is such a genius film at times. These musical moments, and of course, just seeing the actual pie shop as well. The kind of montage sequences, and just all these different moments where we have actual human parts being used in these pies. It's just so gross. It really, really is, but it's used as well at times for comedy. This film, all these different kind of dark moments, these kind of really, really violent moments. It's also at times it kind of almost feels like a satire, and it's so effective here. The kind of dry humour that Tim Burton displays, as he usually does, and just seeing the kind of montage, of all these different victims being dispatched, and of course the door, the trap door, kind of falling there, into the kind of the furnace room there, and we have, of course, all these characters being killed off, and of course, at times, pivotal characters, in the story, and it's just such a kind of brutal film. This, but again, very magical as well at times. This kind of fantastical feeling that it kind of exudes, and Tim Burton here, just kind of telling this story so wonderfully. Visually, this film is immaculate. Just seeing these sets, these costumes, it's just such a kind of immersive film. This, and it's kind of world building. In the script as well, of course. Flawless script here. But the actual visuals, that is on display here, and just the way in which this film is edited. It's remarkable. It really is, and of course, yes, the acting. Alan Rickman as well, the wonderful actor that he was. One of my favourites actually. He displays once again a great performance, and just such a great villain here. But really, actually, kind of, he's the villain, but the main villain, you could say, is actual title character, of Sweeney Todd. But such a complex film, this, with different, kind of moments, character moments, and traits that really, very balanced and organic, I feel, and just seeing, these characters kind of, and these relationships, form, and kind of being rekindled, but also the way in which they culminate, is just something to behold. And of course, Adolfo Pirelli, this film played by Sacha Baron Cohen, is great, and I love the kind of competition, the kind of, the shaving contest, if you will, later in the film, fairly early on, but we have that kind of moment there, that sequence, of course, being kind of musical number involved, but seeing all that and the build up there, and just the way in which that kind of culminates, is just absolutely masterful. One such kind of sequence that is just truly stunning, and so invested in every single way that a scene can be, and just seeing the kind of conflict there, but the comedy here, the blending of comedy and drama in this film is really something to behold, and just seeing these things play out in the kind of the form of a musical. This film here, this story, this kind of this tale, kind of Shakespearean, of course, all these different themes of legacy, betrayal, honor, and just this kind of this tragic feeling, tragedy in this film. It's such a kind of unique blend, and having this film, of course, being a musical, but this kind of dark edge this film has, this being a Tim Burton film, it really is such a kind of unique film, and I would say, at times this film really is, yes, an absolute masterpiece. And I think the one thing that kind of, I think kind of brings the film down a bit, and doesn't allow the film to reach its full potential. It's just simply some of the ending moments, and the way in which this film culminates with particular storylines, or different, kind of arcs, you could say threads, particularly between, Joanna and Anthony Hope, these characters here, and how we see, Joanna kind of, she goes off, of course, she clearly escapes to freedom, but we don't really have any kind of reaction, to, of course, Sweeney Todd, and also, the fact that he never really knows, that she was there and that was her, kind of thing, that was Joanna in front of him, in that particular scene towards the end of the film. That's kind of I feel perhaps a missed opportunity, and you could say yes, it was intentional, and it kind of you could say it works because it hinged on the fact that this revenge has really taken over Todd, and nothing else really matters. Even though even his daughter, and the fact that she was alive, and he could have, perhaps yes, once again kind of been reunited in that sense. The fact that the film ends in this way, yes, you could suggest that you kind of it's meant to say that it's meant to kind of show this kind of tragic aspect of it, and the whole kind of revenge theme being one that overtakes this character, and it's just kind of this hopeless ending. But at the same time, I would have liked even just seeing as well, for example, Joanna and Hanfi kind of seeing what happened after that, even just a minute or two. And, if the film had kind of wrapped it up, this whole narrative, in the way I kind of wanted, then yes, I would have been calling this film a masterpiece. But as it stands, not far off, and that's my only kind of real slight with the film. It's just some of the way the film comes together in the end. It's just not quite for my liking, in some areas, and I think really could have blown me away if it just done a few things differently. But that's just my personal kind of preference, and in itself though, the ending does not kind of bring the film down too much, and kind of in the the scoring of this, the kind of rating that I'll give the film, because it does still deliver in the final act. Absolutely, so much of this final act, it's just such mastery, bringing different threads together, with Mrs. Lovett, that is, is perfect, really, and just a pretty gruesome end, one that is just so kind of sad, to see, but really as well at the same time, it's this, kind of over the top kind of feeling of this whole kind of sequence, and just the reactions, of course, by Johnny Depp, for example, just kind of it makes it kind of a sequence that is oddly kind of funny as well, and kind of the intensity of it, again, this blending with the drama and the comedy is just so unique, and it adds for so much enjoyment, kind of this energy that is so hard to describe, that runs throughout different sequences, and majority of the film, but such a great musical, this, it kind of tells a story at the same time as being, kind of numbers, if you will, that you can enjoy so much, and just the lyrics, and just the melodies of these, these songs, and just the characters, of course, as I say, how it really tells, it reveals more about the characters as we go on through these different, musical moments, and of course, these epic sequences. I love musicals, of course, and this film here, a really, really, epic and kind of, grand tale. This, but one that is very, very, personal, very intimate. Characters. The motivations that are revealed very early on. But ones other characters who kind of really reveal themselves as the film goes on. As well. And Tobias, Rag. Here's a character who, is under the wing of Adolfo Pirelli, but he does join eventually as well, join forces with Todd, and of course Mrs. Lovett, and I love this whole kind of trio, of characters. That's what really, as well, is so enjoyable. Almost this kind of, in a sense, this family, this unit here, and this trio of characters here. But the intentions of different characters, you could say, to these between this group, unaware at times, of what's going on here. These different characters are not sure of what the other, is thinking, and again, this kind of theme of betrayal really kind of takes hold in the final act, and as we know, very poetic end, to Todd, as he dies, he is one that he kind of meets his end by, of course, Tobias Rag, and just seeing, Tobias Rag, kind of being the one who defeats Todd in the end is kind of poetic, feeling this here, and it's just a great way to kind of end a film, in that sense, and for him to be defeated, by this character is just, it's great, it's great to see. I think it works perfectly, in the sense of the narrative, and the way it kind of was leading, and how Todd was deceiving everyone, including, of course, this character, but then, of course, it kind of he meets his end through this, but it's this kind of really unique feeling, where it just ends in this very tragic, poetic way. There's, regardless of some things not being wrapped up perfectly, for my liking, other things were. I think it ended in a very kind of stunning way visually, for example, and emotionally as well. It was really quite interesting as well. Very compelling how these different characters kind of turned on each other, and just seeing this kind of the dark side of human nature here. But it's a very, very majestic film. This throughout, as I say, I love how grand it is. How magical it is. And just seeing as well the kind of sequences with these characters. By the sea and stuff, and they kind of go on these different trips. Seeing that, it's this wonderful kind of color palette, in this film, and it's very, very different to the rest of the film. And when we go back to, the film after that sequence, which is, fairly close to the ending of the film. Once we go back though, it's this contrast here, and it goes back, of course, to this more of a darker tone, in the colors. But it's a really special moment, when you see these characters kind of, in the fields and by the sea. It's a really wonderful moment, and there's moments like this that really, really love, and they're so special and magical to behold, and just a real fantastical film. This, but very, very grounded. This kind of dry sense of humour in the film, and just a very dark and macabre film. Very, very shocking and brutal, of course. Very gory, and some would not take to this. It could be too much. I understand that, of course. It's a very, very gruesome film. Some very gross moments, of course. For example, when you see the pies and the different body parts in the pies, and it's just a really gross moment. This kind of feeling of deception does play into the film quite a bit, as I say. For example, as well, Mrs. Lovett, we find out in the end that she has, kind of been lying to Todd, and she kind of been deceiving him. Actually, she did know, that of course Lucy was alive, and it's this moment where, of course Todd pretends, he forgives her, but of course that's when she meets her end, and they have that kind of that dance, very disturbing, of course, and then he throws her into the oven, and we know what happens there. Such a brutal moment there. But we have this feeling of deception running throughout the entire film, really, with different characters, and it's so fascinating. Really disturbing. And just kind of complex relationships in that sense. We have this feeling behind different characters, even though we have this kind of trio, for example. There's even deception there, and in the end, all these different characters kind of end up at each other, kind of thing, and turning on one another, and yeah, it's a very, very dark film. But even though this is very dark, very macabre, perhaps very, very twisted, in the story, and different character moments, you could say, and gruesome moments, visually, for example, the violence very, very extreme in this. It does, kind of offer so much magical, moments throughout as well, and just uplifting, moments of hope, and I feel just such a stunning film. I really love this one, and just full of, kind of complex themes, and it's a very kind of simple film at times, you could say, in the way it's told, and just so concise, I feel, but it's really complex, and there's so much kind of underlying emotions to this, and just this film really opening up even more, on this kind of rewatch for me, and just a film that I just really love. The ending, as I say, some things don't quite come together for me personally. Other than that, I think this film is absolutely monumental, and just among my favourite, kind of musicals, really, and just what a film this is. And so my final rating for this film, for Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, is an extremely, extremely high score of a 98%. Yes, indeed. I think very, very close to being a masterpiece. Yes, that's how much I love this film. It really blew me away this time. Absolutely wonderful film here. So compelling, so rich with detail, atmosphere. So many themes that are so kind of compelling as well, and just these characters. It's a very intricate story here. One that you know, it's kind of you know, really playing on time and the loss of time and freedom as well. You know, kind of throughout, you know, explored through different characters. You know, of course Todd, but also Joanna and Anthony as well. You know, kind of in the end. But you know, this film, you know, really the visuals to this film, you know, it's just so wonderful to behold, and the editing is so on point, and just to see this world that Tim Burton has created with this film, and just, you know, this epic, grand kind of feeling as well. You know, it's just wonderful, a wonderful blend, you know, of kind of, you know, you could say styles and tones. You know, a musical slasher film, very unique. You know, certainly for me, you know, it works perfectly, really. And just the only thing for me, you know, is kind of some of the ending parts. But other than that, you know, just absolutely stunning throughout, and just really wonderful to revisit this, and you know, really kind of you know, very dark film, but it's got this kind of magic to it as well, that I really love to bits. You know, I really adore this film. For me, this is one of Tim Burton's best films, and just certainly a film that will be on my favourite films list. And again, I always like this film, you know, so much, but this time round, it's really kind of you know, taken on another form, and just a great kind of Blu-ray as well to see. And yes, great stuff here. Once again, Tim Burton making a very special film, and of course, over time, I look forward to reviewing the rest of Tim Burton's films, and you know, kind of rewatching as well many of his titles. Perhaps, you know, I could re-review Edward Scissorhands when I see that, of course, in December. But you know, for now, I look forward to you know, just in general, the Tim Burton films as well. But I haven't seen, and you know, ones I, for example, haven't seen in a while as well. So yes, that's it for now. We'll kind of wrap up, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts, of course. And you know, I have my opinion, but yes, let's hear your thoughts. It'd be great to hear, you know, in the comments, and you know, tell me what you think of this film. It'd be very interesting, and you know, because it's a very unique film, and yeah, it's always great to kind of discuss, you know, Tim Burton as well. You know, the variety of his filmography here, and just, you know, so many great films. You know, quite a few. You know, a few of these films are, you know, certainly one of my favourite films of all time, and just, you know, what's a unique kind of you know, visionary filmmaker. Yes, just seeing once again Johnny Depp in this film. You know, what a performance here, and just the acting all round. You know, the performances here, you know, are stunning. Really are. You know, not a foot wrong here, and Rickman as well. Wow, what a performance. You know, from him, and just, yes, what a film this is. And yes, that's it. We'll kind of we'll end it there. And as I say, it'd be great to discuss this film. You know, in the comments, of course, and just Tim Burton films in general. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.